Louisiana Congressman, I should say, House Minority Whip himself, Steve Scalise, joins us now. Steve, is it safe to say that you guys did okay through this, or is it too early?
Yeah, Brian, you know, the real bulk of the rain came late last night or night before last, and yesterday morning. The eye probably passed over around here close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and a lot of water, but then we even saw water going as far as Jacksonville, Florida. So, you know, it's passing through. It's a tropical storm, not a hurricane. And the low-lying areas that typically get a lot of water did get some heavy water, but no mainstream flooding. We just need to keep our fingers crossed as it moves through.
From city to city, there's this big movement now from Los Angeles to New York to Minneapolis to defund the police. But in Washington, you guys are not talking about defunding the police. You're talking about reform. Are Republicans involved in these talks at all?
You know, there's been a lot of conversation over the last few weeks. I mean, obviously, we all mourn the death of George Floyd. We want to see justice carried out. And I think, you know, you're finally seeing that in Minneapolis. And that's where they're going to have to really ensure that justice is carried out. And if there's these other communities, you're seeing a lot of discussion about where to go next. And I think we need to keep having that discussion, not with violence, but, you know, with real people talking to each other. As far as the Democrat package, they haven't been talking to Republicans about this, so I'm not sure what they're going to be rolling out. But clearly, you know, if somebody abuses their power in any position of law enforcement, there needs to be accountability. We've been talking about that for a long time as well. And so, you know, accountability and justice needs to be served.
Do you believe there's racial inequity when it comes to law enforcement across the country?
Oh, well, you know, look, I mean, we've seen some police departments that have had serious problems, and, you know, some have entered into consent decrees with the Justice Department. I would imagine when you look into Minneapolis, it seems like they've had some problems that didn't go addressed. And, you know, where these departments have had problems, we need to look at what they're doing there. But everybody ought to be treated equally. And you shouldn't, again, if anybody in law enforcement abuses their position, they need to be held accountable.
Do you think solving it would be giving them less money?
No. You know, you're even seeing on the left the debate where, like you pointed out, the mayor of New York is for defunding police and the governor of New York is not. Joe Biden's trying to play both ends of this and hide out in his bunker and not directly address it while yet trying to quietly embrace the defund movement. He ought to be very vocal about where he is on this, and it's not the direction to go.
Does Nancy Pelosi say it's okay now to go back to Washington in person for this as opposed to for the pandemic?
It's been okay to go back to work for a long time. And, you know, we had a vote over a month ago that went very safely, and, you know, people practice social distancing. And Congress should have been in Washington throughout a lot of this to show people how to come back safely. Again, you go look at the states that opened up and that opened up early. They didn't have any outbreak in their hospitals different than anywhere else in the rest of the country. And that was what the shut-in was supposed to be about, is making sure the hospitals didn't get overrun. And yet now we're seeing our hospitals to a point where they want their regular customers and patients to come back. Patients need to be treated. There are a lot of reports coming back right now, health studies showing that people not going to their doctors causing severe life-threatening consequences, in many cases spikes in death from non-COVID related things because people aren't going to see their doctor.
Congressman, it's going to be an exciting sprint to November. We'll see how this plays out as we all focus on the protests and the pandemic at the same time. Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate it.